Hello, my name is Ryan Welch, and I will be demonstrating the new features in the AWR version 12 release. There are quite a few new features in this version, so I won't be able to go all through them all, but let me show you some highlights of the features that we have. The first one we have is where when you are doing a large swept analysis, you can actually slice through the data using markers. The first example I'm going to show is how we can use markers to define sweep points from a simulation. In this example, we are sweeping many points. We are sweeping bias, power, as well as frequency. But then from the graphs, I can use markers to slice through the data. For example, as I slide the bias or the marker on the IV curves, you can see that the waveforms, the spectrum, the S parameters on the Smith chart are all updating with this new bias. But that just sets the bias. For the waveforms and the spectrums and also the swept power, we need to set the frequency, which I'm now changing the marker on the S parameter graph to set the frequency for the sweep. And finally, there's the power level. So I can move the marker on the power level, and you can see as I do this, all the values are changing or updating on the other graphs. The next feature is our rich text box. So what you can see now is that when you add these rich text boxes, there are other options for how to format the text, such as the background color. You can add these call-out tails such that you can double-click and move the tail to a location to annotate some place in the circuit. We can do bulleting on the text. It just gives you much more control, and it's a much more elegant text display. The next feature is the ability to mass edit measurements. So what you can do is right-click on a graph and say edit all measurements, and a new table will come up where you can multi-select to enter different things. So let's say I wanted to change these to Z parameters, all of them would update. So you have the ability to, at various levels of granularity, do massive editing to your measurements in your project. The next feature we added is the ability to do via fencing. And what via fencing and via filling means is that I can select shapes within the layout, and then I can select a command here to draw, add shapes, and I'm going to do a via fill. I get a dialog I need to fill in. I need to select the GDS2 or DXF library that contains the artwork for the via. There's some parameters here that you can read the help on, but I'm just going to change one of them here. But you'll see once I'm done that it filled in all of those empty regions now with multiple vias. So there's a nice feature for our layout customers, particularly for PCB customers. The final feature on ease of use I would like to show is how we have enhanced our output files. Now the output files act exactly like the measurement dialog does for measurements on graphs. Before it wasn't, as it was done in a different dialog. The advantage here now is that we can control swept variables, simulation control, the same way that we do all the other measurements. For example, now if I take a schematic and I export S parameters, it will actually take all those sweep values and put them into a file. So as I hit OK here and run simulation, I've told it to load into the project, and notice now that for all of those sweeps in the original schematic, which was an inductance, the value of inductance on an inductor, each one of those S parameter files has now come into the output file, where previously you would only get the first sweep point. Thank you so much for watching this demo on the ease of use features in the AWR Design Environment version 12. If you'd like to learn more about these features, please go into the Help and What's New link, and you'll be able to read about the complete set of features. Thank you.